Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some incredible spice in the Open Ultra League, featuring level 50 Girafarig and UXIE. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now the crazy thing is that this battler has not one but two Girafarigs at level 50. The first one we'll be seeing is running Thunderbolt, and the second one is a Purified Hundo running Return. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out XL Girafarig in action in the Ultra League. Hopping to the first match, picking up a tough lead, Scrafty into Machamp, simultaneous save switch, Girafarig into Togekiss. This is a tough spot to be in for the Girafarig. Girafarig fires off the Psychic Fangs. Togekiss lets it go because Girafarig did not build up to the Thunderbolt. Girafarig able to reach the last second Thunderbolt. Does Togekiss respect the damage? They do not! And they lose switch advantage. In comes Machamp, but now Machamp is aligned onto UXIE. UXIE able to deal some pretty significant confusion damage. UXIE is very tanky, but a lack of a bait move definitely does hold it back. UXIE continuing to farm. Machamp banks a cross chop. In the back, there is Blastoise. UXIE going for the Thunder. Thunder able to land. Blastoise called a bait, but UXIE doesn't have a bait move. UXIE firing off another Thunder. Blastoise commits the shield. In comes Scrafty, and Scrafty should be able to farm down here and leave with energy to fire off at the Machamp. Blastoise goes for the Hydro Cannon. Scrafty able to counter down, leaves with a ton of energy, and is going to fire off the Power-Up Punch. Power-Up Punch goes no-shielded. At this point, Machamp knows it's over. Unfortunately, the game starts lagging like crazy. Hold on. This may not actually be over. The game is lagging like crazy. They fire off a cross chop. In comes UXIE. UXIE lets it go. It's the Rock Slide, but UXIE too tanky, able to secure the win, and the 2-shield flex. Hopping into the next match, leading Scrafty into Swampert. Fairly neutral lead, going to be safe switching out of this matchup into the Girafarig to check and see if they have a good counter to Psychic types in the back. Swampert is actually staying in here. Girafarig fires off the Psychic Fangs. It lands, and it's a CMP tie. Swampert is going to fire off a move. Hydro Cannon does a lot of damage, and in comes Shadow Snorlax. Girafarig is single resisting the lick damage here, which is quite nice. Girafarig fires off another Psychic Fangs. Psychic Fangs does, of course, come with that guaranteed defense drop, which is quite nice. Girafarig committing a shield here, going to try and reach the Thunderbolt. Able to get there. Does the opponent know about Thunderbolt? Thunderbolt able to land, takes down the Snorlax, and in the back, they have Shadow Machamp, which is met with the UXIE. UXIE absolutely confusioning through the Machamp. Machamp is going to fire off a payback that deals a ton of damage. In comes Swampert. Swampert will be met with the Scrafty. Scrafty down a shield, so this could be a bit tough here. Scrafty is going to farm up to the foul play and bait with the Power-Up Punch. Hydro Cannon would not be enough to KO here. Scrafty is going to let it go and basically try and force the Swampert to try and farm them down. Power-Up Punch gets no-shielded. Swampert, very nice job calling the bait. Scrafty going to fire off another Power-Up Punch. Swampert lets it go, able to reach a last-second move. Scrafty letting it go, saving the shield for UXIE. In comes UXIE. UXIE able to farm down Machamp. In comes Swampert. The confusion doesn't register. I believe that should have been a tie, but instead it's a heartbreaking loss. Nightmare lead in the next match, Scrafty into Sylveon. Immediate save switch into Girafarig. Sylveon staying in here, so Girafarig is going to fire off Psychic Fangs. Again, Psychic Fangs doesn't do a ton of damage, but it does get that ever-important defense drop. Sylveon going for the Charm Down. Girafarig able to reach that Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt nearly takes down the Sylveon, and after one confusion from UXIE, this Sylveon will be taken care of, which hopefully frees up Scrafty to close in the endgame. Opponent is thinking about it, and they're going to bring in Giratina. It is very fortunate that the opponent did not switch the Giratina into the Girafarig, because now that the Sylveon is gone, things are looking pretty nice for Scrafty in the endgame. Giratina fires off a Dragon Claw, so odds are they're probably running Ancient Power instead of Shadow Sneak as their second move. Future Sight does get the shield. Giratina continues to farm, and they're going to fire off another move. Another no shield from the UXIE. UXIE tanks the Dragon Claw, builds up to the Future Sight, but baits. I'm not sure I agree with this bait. Thunder gets no shielded. That is unfortunate. Giratina doesn't want to get hit with another move, and they're going to fire off a last-second Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw takes out UXIE. Now it's all up to Scrafty. Giratina is able to reach a Dragon Claw, immediate no shield from the Scrafty. Scrafty may look to throw a power-up punch and farm down, but in the back is Empoleon, and Scrafty, once it gets ramped up, is going to be able to counter through the rest of this team. Empoleon firing off waterfall after waterfall, but it's just not going to be doing enough damage here. Scrafty can shield once, counter through the Empoleon, and counter through the Giratina as well. Scrafty able to farm down. Back in comes the Giratina, and Giratina is met with a boosted power-up punch. Power-up punch, plus the counters, able to KO the Giratina, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, now running the return Girafarig, picking up a tough lead, Scrafty into Shadow Kanto Muck. Immediate save switch into UXIE. Opponent is going to respond with Trevenant, and this is absolutely terrible. Trevenant is able to outpace, and you definitely just have to let the UXIE go at this point, because there's no way UXIE is going to be able to win switch. Back in comes Scrafty. Scrafty is going to get outpaced here, as Trevenant is going to fire off a Seed Bomb. He does decide to commit the shield, wanting to try and keep the Scrafty healthy. Scrafty is going to overfarm on some energy, and fire off the Foul Play. Foul Play gets the Trevenant very low, and able to counter down at the last second. Back in comes the Shadow Kanto Muck. Scrafty is going to fire off the Foul Play. This will do some solid neutral damage if it lands, which it does. In comes Girafarig, and in the back there is a Walrein, and Walrein has nowhere to run, going up against a double kick user or a counter user. Girafarig is just going to keep spamming out these Psychic Fangs, debuffing the Walrein more and more. Walrein lets it go. They are saving 2 shields for the Muck. Walrein is going to fire off an Icicle Spear. That gets Girafarig low, and they're able to reach one final move. At this point, you just have to trust in Scrafty and try and counter down the Muck. Opponent is going to bring back in the Muck. Muck does have a lot of energy. They're going to fire off a move. Scrafty lets the first one through. Thunder Punch lands. Scrafty going for the power-up punch, but loses CMP. After this power-up punch, I think you just have to try and farm down and not throw any additional charge moves here, because if you throw a charge move, they're going to get an extra poison jab through. Power-up punch does get shielded. Scrafty going for the farm down. Muck does get a move through as they throw the power-up punch. Is Muck going to be able to reach the Thunder Punch? They are not, and Scrafty clutches an incredibly close win. Hopping into the next match, picking up a Dream lead, Scrafty into Walrein. The entire team can hit Walrein for super effective damage, so it's very nice to catch it on the lead. Opponent is going to fire off the Icicle Spear. Scrafty is going to tank the damage, and then a save switch into UXIE to check and see if they have it counter to Psychic types in the back. They're going to fire off another Icicle Spear. That is totally fine. And then the opponent is going to respond with a Dragon Breath Giratina. Opponent throws on alignment and gives UXIE an entire free confusion. You'll love to see it. UXIE tanks the Dragon Claw and is going to fire back with the Future Sight. Future Sight is going to do some nice damage onto the Giratina. UXIE continues to farm up. Giratina is going to fire off a move. UXIE actually decides to commit a shield here. Honestly, I may have just let it go and tried to take it out with the Scrafty, but UXIE is trying to take care of this Giratina itself. Thunder does get the shield. The confusion's adding up, and Giratina is going to fire off a move. That's going to be taking out the UXIE, and at this point, this is not quite counter down range, but with the power-up punch, Scrafty may be able to do it. Scrafty fires off the power-up punch, going for the counter down. Giratina able to reach a last-second move. It is very tough to counter down a Ghost type. Dragon Claw gets Scrafty very low. We'll have to see what they have in the back, and they have a Machamp. Scrafty's going to fire off the Foul Play. Foul Play does some chip damage. In comes Girafarig. Opponent throws on alignment, giving Girafarig an entire free double kick. Cross Chop lands. That does quite a lot of damage. Girafarig is going to fire off the Psychic Fangs. Machamp needs to shield this. They do. Machamp switches out, but they did not bank a move, and that is a big mistake by the opponent. Psychic Fangs able to land. Girafarig going for the farm down. Walrein throws on alignment as well, giving Girafarig a free double kick. Girafarig able to farm down and leaves with the Psychic Fangs loaded. Psychic Fangs should be able to take down the Machamp and clutch an incredibly close win. Hopping into the final match, sitting Scrafty into another Walrein. Absolutely incredible. this time actually choosing to play it differently. Instead of farming up some energy on Scrafty, immediately save switches into Girafarig. Girafarig fires off the Psychic Fangs. Opponent is going to respond with an Obstagoon. Obstagoon can hit for super effective damage with the Night Slashes, but is taking double super effective damage from the double kicks. As you can see, these double kicks absolutely shredding through Obstagoon. Girafarig commits the shield, and honestly, I'm not sure about this shield. The reason being is Girafarig is not going to be able to reach a return before Obstagoon reaches a second charge move here, meaning that now Girafarig has lost shield advantage and switch advantage. So honestly, I may have recommended letting the first move go, farming down with the Scrafty, and that way you can still keep 2 shields. In comes Walrein, and the fact that they're bringing Walrein into Scrafty means that they must be incredibly weak to Scrafty in the back. Are they triple weak to fighting here? Scrafty is going to be firing off the foul play. Foul play will be getting the Walrein very low. Walrein does commit the shield. At this point, Scrafty just commits to the counter down. Scrafty does click on the power-up punch and loses CMP. That is quite unfortunate there. Scrafty is going to be no-bubbling this power-up punch. Scrafty will get one more counter. In the back, they have Registeel, so the opponent is running a team triple weak to fighting, and they are being punished by Scrafty. Scrafty fires off the power-up punch, farming up, switch, and a beautiful catch onto UXIE. Let's go. UXIE able to absorb that damage fairly well. UXIE farming up, trying to reach the Thunder, and able to get there. This will do a solid chunk of damage to Registeel even when debuffed. Registeel is going to commit the final shield. A second Zap Cannon is not going to be enough to KO here. That is going to get the UXIE quite low though. UXIE trying to reach a move before they get farmed down. Registeel does not want to risk that, and they're going to fire off a move. Zap Cannon is going to take out the UXIE. In comes Scrafty. Scrafty going for the power-up punch. Scrafty hoping that by boosting the counters, they're going to be able to farm down here. And they just are. And that is a good game. All in all, some very fun battles in the Ultra League featuring a pretty spicy combination of UXIE and not one but 2 XL Girafarigs. This trainer did mention this is more of a team for fun than for climbing. They did end up having quite a few losses, but the wins that they were able to get were pretty fun to watch. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.